Tonight on the Reno Show, the team get to work transforming this 19th century hallway from boring to beautiful. Then we catch up with Denise to go thrifting for vintage furniture. And finally, I show you a cheap and easy way to make over your kitchen stools at home. One very small but mighty room that is next, and that is the entry or the hallway. This house is so little, it doesn't have a formal entryway, but it does have a hall which you step straight into. Now, it's tiny, but that doesn't mean that we don't pay attention, because it is the space that everyone sees and everyone gets a feel for first. So it really does set the tone for the whole property. Let the demolition begin. So I got to site this morning and we pulled up the floor in the entryway, and there's no subfloor, like no subfloor. It just has 3 hardwood timbers running on dirt, propped up by a piece of rotten timber. So there's no subfloor at all. And so there's a couple of things that we can do. There's a couple of options that Regan's given me as the builder, because this is certainly from a compliance perspective out of my realm. And this is why we work with good trades. So I need to percolate today on which option that I go with from a longevity, from a time, and from a finish perspective. Breathe through it. All right, so I've had a whole day to think about what I'm going to do in regard to the subfloor in the entryway. So my 2 options that Regan gave me from Ferris is I can literally dig down and excavate inside of the entry foyer, put in some foundation pads, some stirrups, and also then chem set into the bottom of room 1 and room 2's walls. Given room 1 and room 2 are finished, not really what I want to be doing, just in case we upset those rooms. But there are other options. So the other option they've given me is 3 long horizontal pads, the full width of the entryway at either end and in the middle, with a super small stirrup foot there to then lay those 3 hardwoods back on top of it. So that is the less ideal option from a construction perspective, but given time, given the property itself, and that lasted at least 110 years, I'm going to back myself that this better option will last at least another 110 years compared to what it was. So that's what we're doing here. One of the reasons we need to take it all very seriously is obviously the end of that hallway is the front door. So we've got a front door, we've got a cast iron panel on there. So, you know, we need to make sure that this is all rigid. So quality renos sometimes aren't always fun in moments like this, but it's kind of expected. It's one of the reasons that you must have buffer in your budget. With the floor drama behind me, I'm moving on to much prettier and more exciting things, like the front door. Now, it is a beautiful deep threshold which completely suits the property, and I have chosen the most amazing, classy, classic, beautiful, oh my gosh, I've run out of words, door from Hume Doors to be the threshold and the welcoming into this home. The existing jambs were just completely rotted. So what we've done is cleaned up the brick opening, and we are popping beautiful new jambs in to house the door. And no door is complete without some beautiful jewellery. And here I've continued the gold that I've used throughout the home. So some amazing Gainsborough hardware on the front door. I got these from my local Saddington store. Next step is gyprock those walls, or part of them, because I have something very special to come. Hey! How are you doing, Andrew? No handshaking today.
Yes.
Yeah, all that sort of jazz. Hey, I have a new project for you.
Yeah, looks exciting.
So this massive space, is our entry foyer. Yep. You know the old-fashioned idea of like wainscoting and panelling below chair rail.
Yep.
I want to do that with tiles.
Okay. Possible? Yep.
Possible?
Yep, definitely
Tick.
possible.
So the next part is I want to do it with large format slabs.
Okay, yep.
Like
Yep.
2400 by
Okay, yep.
796.
Yep.
So lay them on the edge.
Yep. Still doable?
Doable?
Yep, definitely.
So let's go check out the slab tiles.
Yep.
Sometimes it's easier not to.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, look at this.
Wow.
It is so cool, hey?
It is.
So at the moment it looks like a swimming pool, literally. But these are the beautiful slabs. So they're a white onyx slab.
Yep.
They're from Beaumont Tiles and they're part of their slab, like the slab tile range.
Yep.
I like them because they're not as thin. You know how some of these large formats can be really thin?
Yeah, they have a bit of thickness too, which is good. It's just definitely easy to work with when they're a little bit solid, yeah. Yep.
So you don't pick it up and go,
that's right. So some of the other ones are a bit flimsy, so this is a good product.
Nice and thick.
Nice and thick.
And I really want to replicate that soft kind of marble feel, but I believe like the onyx just has a real elegance, and especially the white onyx. And I am slightly selfish in that it's going on a hallway, and I really want it there for wear and tear. I don't know about you, but at my house, my hallway walls
they do get
are trashed. Hey,
yep.
They're trashed, and so I'm trying to you know, work out all the different products, and tiles are such a they're just so hardy. Hey,
yep, they are. Yep.
They're just so hardy. I've actually done these in a gloss as well, so pretty much anything should be able to get spilt on this.
That's exactly right.
Or bumped against it.
Just clean it straight off.
Clean it off.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm looking for like a house I can hose out.
Basically, you can do that with this if you wanted to do it.
Perfect.
Renomate is the perfect renovator's companion for fast-tracking all your home projects, helping you renovate with ease and enjoyment. It's the new, smarter way to renovate. You'll be able to collate all your reno data, select all your products in one place, find your nearest suppliers, build and track your budget, get access to exclusive member offers, and manage your worksite and trades 24/7, all from your mobile phone. It's never been easier to start your personal or professional renovation. Rapid Renomate is free to download from the App Store and Google Play now.
So we are Lifeline shopping in Cardiff, of all places, and we are Lifeline shopping for the Rose Farm. And check out what Denise is sitting on.
I'm so in love with this. Look, so I'm looking for any piece of furniture that has a heart on it or interesting carvings and roses, obviously. And Naomi said I could have this one. She's very strict.
Man, she's a nightmare. So the reason that she's allowed to have this specific one is the detail. So can you see the detail?
That's gonna be fun to paint.
And
all those bits.
I'll be painting it. And the rattan. And the point is, when you're shopping for furniture, this doesn't have to be a lounge suite. We're going to get some outdoor furniture, outdoor fabric in some beautiful roses, naturally, and convert this into the most luscious outdoor lounge suite you have ever seen. And it's going to look a whole world different.
It's gonna be beautiful.
To what it is right now.
I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Look at these.
What are you gonna do with them?
Well, first of all, we're going to get rid of the shiny timber because that's not okay. They're a perfect pair. They're structurally sound because they're not actually that old, but we can make them look really, really old. And
$20.
sold.
Check out those lamps.
Whoa, they're huge.
They're massive. So what could you actually paint that, or what can you do with it?
Well, if you bought a lamp this size from a retailer, you pay a fortune for it. So there's a pile of things you can do. You can do like a metallic finish on this. There's some products that you could do a marble finish. You could simply paint it. So you could cover these in fabric. You could put new beading on them. You could cover them in wallpaper. They're huge.
So hard to find.
They're amazing. Let's go find out the price. I do like this too, hey. Do you know good lamps also can go in 5-point harnesses in your baby seats?
What have you found?
We have found the sister lounge of the lounge at Lifeline in Cardiff. Like this is actually, it's a little damaged here, but we can work that out. We don't even need to replace it. We could look at maybe putting some timber stripping there, but this one's actually been recovered and it's a perfect fabric for the Rose Farm. And so, you know, you've got big sweeping verandas. I'm imagining 2 separate seating spaces. I can even mix them up a little so it isn't so matchy-matchy. It's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. Sold.
What are you going to use this one for, and what are you going to do with it?
This one I think is sold because it's ours. This one needs to be for a bedroom. Like in the guest space in the Rose Farm, this is gorgeous. I would probably, it looks like this has been replaced at some point in time, this glass, because it's not really in tune with the era, and you can see that it's got new tacking on the back. So I'd love to replace this with some traditional pink Kosciuszko, like real, not replica, pink Kosciuszko glass. I love the handles. We might see if we can fix those and just bring it back to its glory. Really rubbed back, I think something really quite distressed, and keeping the old worn mirrors, like the beautiful old worn beveled mirrors. All right, Denise, tell me about your morning so far on our truck run.
Okay, so the problem with Facebook Marketplace is people want you just to come and buy it. They don't want you to come and look at it because it's a real waste of time. So what I've noticed is I need to ask better questions before I commit to going to pick up a piece.
What are you about to show me in here?
Okay.
You picked up 2 without me.
Problem is, it's not real wood.
What?
It's not real wood. She also told me that she got it reupholstered this year. She did not, Naomi. She did not. Okay, so do you want to come and have a look?
Out. Okay, so in the truck.
Okay, I hate to even show you because I know that if we were in a charity shop, you would have said, no, don't get it, it's not real wood, because it's not real wood. So look, it's like a cheap vinyl. It's a cheap vinyl. So I'm really annoyed at myself that I overpaid for this.
There's so many good lessons in that though.
Yeah, there are. The only thing that was good about it was easy to get on the truck because it's not real wood.
So let's check out exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, it's just...
Look, it is, the workmanship in the piping's beautiful and the roses are quite pretty. Like, it's very pretty pattern. And it's definitely not original upholstery. Oh, yeah, hey everyone, Denise and I are secondhand shopping again, but with a twist.
We are going to people's houses and buying things online, which is always
like
a bit
crazy
of a risk.
Women.
Yes, it's a bit of a risk, but we hired a truck and I've
Should we
got
show them the truck?
wad of cash.
We hired a truck.
Oh my God, I'm driving for the first time ever. I've got a wad of cash and we are just going around and getting stuff. So unfortunately the people aren't here, but they're very trustworthy and they've said that I can just leave the cash under the mat and pick up the lounge.
So the lounge is around the back. We haven't seen it yet.
Seen it.
And so far today, Denise has had one epic fail and one epic win with her pickups. So we are going to take you around the back.
Temper your expectations on this one, Naomi, because it is only $80, so it's the cheapest one.
And,
I've bought so
how
far.
many seats is it for $80?
I think it's a 3-seater couch set, but I don't. Just let's go have a look.
Okay, you put the 80 smackers
Okay.
under there, and we'll go around and have a look. Are you nervous or excited?
I think I've got low expectations because it is so cheap, this one, so
Okay.
I'm not too worried.
So you're not thinking it's going to be, hey, we should check for dogs before we go around the back.
Yes. Not too bad, not too bad.
Are you sure? Oh! She's pretty!
Not too bad, right?
Look, she has the same details as number one.
Yeah.
That we bought.
A bit smaller, do you reckon?
I think it's less grand.
Yeah.
That's really quite cute. She's petite.
Yeah. And the cheapest one we've bought so far out of all of these.
That's
couches.
$80. So is all the rattan in place on the back?
I think from looking at online there was one that was broken. No, it's all good.
Oh my gosh, it is all intact. So we're going to load this onto the truck and get off to our next place. See you then. We're now at the next one. Denise has managed to get us cross country. So what are we picking up here?
Well, I think a couch and 2 chairs.
Okay, how much is this one?
I think this one's 300. You just told me, I think.
So the good thing about this is you are totally right in that this is an easy renovate because the upholstery isn't attached. It's not wadded on the seat. It's literally just a timber seat, and you could recover these. Like, these are easy renovates.
Okay, so did I do okay with this one?
This is a tick, and you know what? This one over here that doesn't feel like the right timber, it's actually a tick, but it wouldn't be one that we'd be able to expose the detail and just stress and all of that. It might be one that we paint solid gold. It will be one that we won't be wanting to showcase the amazingness of the timber in. It'll just be one that we go, wow, that's a really cute lounge, and we're just going to paint it solid and everything's going to be okay.
But I paid too much.
She paid too much. Now the cushions on some of these lounges really have seen better days. I've tried to salvage what fabric I can, but most of the foam and most of the filling, which was made up of all sorts of things over the past 100 years, has to go. So I'm using one of these really cool soft skip bags, which mean you can fill them up in your garage, and when it's time to go, the crane comes and pulls them out. tiny, tiny space, there are still as many things to do in here as there is any other room. It's just a smaller volume and a smaller workload. Now that we have the large format tiles on, we need to now look at cornices, chair rails, skirts, picture rails, lighting, you name it, it still all needs to happen in this room. Next step will be the Ferris building team back in, chair rails, skirts, picture rails, and then it'll be the gyp rockers back in to hang that cornice. As with all renovations, there are challenges and there are areas that we need to adapt in. Now, usually we'd be fitting our chair rail to a flat wall. But in this circumstance, because we have used the large format slab tiles, we actually have an area that we're going to either need to build out or rebate into. Now, the good news is that being real timber, the in-trim chair rails are easy to work with. And in this circumstance, due to the depth of the lip that's on the top of that tile, Regan is having to come up with the goods and actually add onto the back of the trim to make that chair rail extra deep, but to fit seamlessly on top of the slab tile. The next challenge I have for Regan from Team Ferris is how to manage the threshold between the hallway and the living room. We need to figure out how we're going to make the transition between wallpaper and tile, and at the same time what that means for the skirting boards, the chair rails and the picture rails that go out and around whatever we decide to create here. I guess if we think about the purpose of it, it's to break the two rooms. Mm-hmm. But I do think that the skirt needs to go around it.
Mm-hmm. It might make it more of a sort of a break if they step down around it. You'll notice it more.
I feel that if we don't step it out, it'll look like we ran out of trim, which we haven't, and we're just putting a sticky bit. Whereas if we go out and around it, it might actually look more architectural.
Yeah. And those grooves will be between the chair rail and
exactly. So if they were between chair and picture and they kind of stopped this far from each end.
150 from top to bottom.
Yeah. Because that would be 900, 270. So that's 16. So they'd be like, yeah. Okay. I think we have to come out and around.
Yep. No, that's fine.
Are you cool with that?
Yep, that's fine. No,
okay,
just a question.
Good question.
It doesn't affect me. I'm going to do this way because I know that's where those angles, where that timbers are going to run.
Yeah, totally.
So I can just put a line up and start one square from that back.
Cool. Thank you. Hey Regan, I think you're awesome.
I'm trying my best. It's just not exactly how I wanted it.
I think you're awesome. Now it's time to make this place start to look pretty. The plasterers are in to hang the corners and Dan from Newy Paint Crew is coming in to paint. Now many of you be thinking, hardly anything to do here, but I tell you, painting a really skinny, tall space is really tough, especially when you're 6'4" yourself. The room is finally done. It is tiny, but I have packed a mite of detail into here to show you. My favourite part in this room would without doubt be this super glamorous and super practical slab, so large format tiles from Beaumont Tiles. The gloss white onyx means that they're hard wearing, easy to clean, and they bring such beautiful movement to the room. Okay, what would I change? Well, at the moment I am going to sit tight on this and be really open with you. I may want to change the internal colour of that beautiful front door. So I'm not saying just yet that I want to, but there is the possibility that it may get a recoat. And you know what? That is one of the best things about paint, is you can paint, paint and paint again until you absolutely love it. This tiny hallway is a wrap, packed with lots of details, trims, cornices, skirts, picture rails, chair rails, you name it, we have packed it into here. Today's style hack is all about upcycling. Now, I don't mean recycling, which is something we all think of, having an old piece of furniture and making it new again. I actually mean when you buy something new and you choose to make it better, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. So I've purchased from a nationwide discount or low-cost shop 3 of these stools. They look really simple. I quite like the shape. I quite like the white metal on them, but I do think that we could make them a little more amazing. And I'm going to show you 3 super simple ways you can make these stylish, your own, and do it affordably. So let's get to it. The first technique we're going to do is actually extremely simple. We're just going to paint the top of this. And today, for all 3 stools, we're sticking with a navy and white theme. So let's get to it. The first and most simple thing we need to do to make this easy on ourselves is to tape up the white metal. Just means as we're applying our paint, we don't have to worry about any drips, spills, or stray brush hairs. Naturally, before we paint anything, we do need to make sure it's clean, make sure we've given it a light sand with a sanding block, and then make sure we give it another clean. As many of you know, I'm a huge fan of not letting any paint go to waste. So this is a beautiful navy from a previous project that we're going to utilise again here. Alright, let's let that dry. We'll give it a light sand and then a second coat. Stool number 1 is done. We're now moving on to number 2, and we're going to get a little more fancy. You can pretty much do anything you want on these stools. So you could do spots, you could do stripes, you could do stars. All you need to do is get clever with the tape and then with the paintbrush. Now, if you were really attention to detail, you could absolutely measure out these strips or stripes to make sure they're perfect distances apart. However, you know what? I don't mind just being a little off the cuff with it. Now for this one, I'm using a Porter's chalk emulsion. I get all of this sort of stock from my local Bristol supplier. I love this because it covers really, really well, and there's no prep needed even to, previously varnished surfaces. When I am painting over timbers, when I'm upcycling furniture, I do like to not be too precious about my brush strokes. I think there's something really sweet and really nice about being able to see the brush strokes and being able to see a little bit of the timber grain. Adds interest and adds character. There we have it, second one done. We'll leave that to dry whilst we get on to the third. Now for number 3, we're doing something a little bit different here. I'm actually going to pad this seat for some extra comfort, and I'm going to upholster the top of it. Now, these are called fact quarters. These are available from so many different types of stores, Spotlight, Lincraft, any haberdashery type of shop. And it's just a simple piece of fabric. I actually don't know, someone else might know why they're called a fact quarter, but there you go. It's actually a perfect size to fit over here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to take this top off so it has a beautiful finish once it's done. Now that we've done that, we can actually use this top as a template to cut our wadding and our fabric. Now this again comes from just a standard craft store or fabric store, and we can use that to just get that little bit of extra oomph into our seat. A bit more of a luxe look. Now when you're using this as a template, we really don't want the wadding to be wrapped around, because these screws that secure the frame and the timber are actually quite tiny. And if we have too much padding there, these aren't going to be able to bite in. Perfect. Let's now do the same for the fabric. We do need, for the fabric, we do need a little bit of a lip that we can bring it over the edge and staple it in well inside that frame. But again, we don't want too much overhang. I'm about to sound like my mother, but I feel like saying, someone used my fabric scissors to cut paper. You can always tell when the kids have had the fabric scissors. Next step, let's secure all of this together. So fabric down, the good side down, wadding on, in we go. Now to secure this, I'm just using a really simple staple gun. As we staple, we will need to probably pleat just so that we can get the fabric to fit around that curved edge. Popping on some glasses for safety. That is so cool. That is such a good look. All right, let's put the stool back together. Now that makes my heart sing. Look at that. It is so cute. And there you have it. 1, 2, 3. You would never have known that these were budget and boring stools to begin with.